Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Not Bland Show. I'm your host, Dujane Bland, and today we're going to have a special show talking about SummerSlam. Uh, Good show. Uh, I thought it had its moments, had some pretty good moments. Some moments that I think people think are big, I don't think are as big, but we'll get into all of that. Again, I want to thank our sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It is that season, and we're getting an inching closer towards the NHRA playoffs, and you can still get involved. You can still get involved, and you can get involved with this league as well. If you haven't had an opportunity to get involved and want to know how, uh, we'll have this break that'll tell you all about it, and we'll get right into WWE's pay per view. I don't like PLE. Uh, SummerSlam.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Well, you see that writing on the bottom of the show's ticker. There is a code there. You can get involved in the Not Bland Show League, and it's been fun. I'm losing again this year, trailing by a lot, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, SummerSlam, ladies and gentlemen, 2 nights. I'm not really a huge fan of 2 nights, but at the same time, as bloated as these rosters are, 2 nights gives a lot of talent an opportunity to have a big stage. And as big as their roster is, and to be honest with you, there are other companies. AEW's kind of got a big roster too. It gives these opportunities to some folks to get out here and showcase their talent on the big stage. Word on the street is that over the next 2 years, they will be making all of their pay-per-views 2 nights. It's risky. For the most part, I think we all feel that WWE is in a hotbed right now. I thought they were pretty cold pretty average from WrestleMania 41 on to SummerSlam. Even the daily shows between SmackDown and Raw just really haven't delivered on anything strong. And we'll get into all of that. But night one, we get the first match of the night, and I really liked both the Tribal Chief and Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso going against those two guys that are supposed to be of Seth's faction. I know most people would have liked to see them win. I don't think them winning right now really makes a difference, either way. Right now, this faction, we don't really know what the direction is. We've been trying to figure out what are they doing with these three since it has been formed. And to be quite honest with you, it's been kind of lackluster. It really has been a place where it has lacked direction. Welcome, Memphis Lonnie in the building here. Appreciate you, and we got Drag Race Mayhem as well. What's going on, man? He said, yeah, we're gonna teach you. You're gonna learn something today. Drag Race Mayhem. He says, ring the bell to start the show. No holds barred. Right. It will be. It will be definitely be that. I tell you what, we don't know what direction they're going in with this faction, and we still haven't got a direction. It helps that now Seth has the title, which, yes, great moment, but it was a moment that needed to be had. I do think Seth had a scare. I do not ever believe he was hurt serious enough to keep him out. I think he had a scare. You don't end a match abruptly like that, and it's nothing. I think they ended the match abruptly, and they wanted to take a look. They took a look, found out it was really nothing major, and they were like, hey, this is a great opportunity to keep him out, say he's injured, and do something big at SummerSlam for this cash-in, which he was going to cash in at SummerSlam. It was going to, you were wondering whether it was going to be a cash-in to take it from Gunther or how this was all going to play out. I never once, and we'll get there, but I never once thought it would play out the way that it did. But I don't think this hurts Bronson Reed or uh, you know, Braun Breaker at all. They haven't really established anything. So we're just getting started with this whole thing. Uh, it was quite a good match between the four ladies. Knew Alexa Bliss and Charlotte were going to win. This was a way for Charlotte to have a title and it not be the women's title. She put, if you want to call that, Tiffany Stratton over in that match they had at WrestleMania. I thought she did a poor job of it. You look at it on Unreal and they make it seem like she did something special. I don't think so. I think it was very sloppy on her part. Nevertheless, it was a put-over match, and I didn't see her getting any other titles just yet. Really good pairing. I think it's funny as well. It's got a little bit of comedic side to it. Think it'll be great to elevate the titles even further for a little while. These two won't be together for very long. I just think both deserve their own, storylines and run here. Maybe she ends up with the Wyatt Six. Maybe she doesn't with Alexa Bliss. But they deserve their own storylines. Just right now, it's kind of crowded room. So great way to get those two on TV and to hold something special. Everybody wanted Jade to win. I don't think it's time yet. I will say with Jade, though, excellent match from her. She's getting cleaner and cleaner in these big matches where she is it. There's no help for you. You are out there on the island. You are out there to do a job and to showcase what you can do. And she's starting to get into a bit of a rhythm here and be a little bit more clean. I think she's going to have to clean up her final hit, roll over, and pin. You can't pin the person so hard until they pretty much flip out of the pin. But I think that was part of the show on that one for her leg to hit the rope. But she's done it on other occasions where she's kind of flipped out of the pin and it's looked kind of sloppy at the end. So she's got to clean that up. But for the most part, I like what she's doing. She's getting a lot better. She seems to be more comfortable in the ring, and it doesn't look so choppy. And she's not obviously to the eye missing spots. So that's good. Tiffany Stratton doing a good job. I'm going to tell you the match of the night, though, for me, was actually the match with the celebrity in it with Jelly Roll. Who would have thought that Jelly Roll would have had the spot that he had? And as long, as much, and as involved as he was in this match, really showed a lot of trust from H and the crew that he was prepared and ready. Had some really big moments in this match, and he did a good job. Not only was it, I would say it was comedic, but it was a fun match. Probably the funnest match of the night, given a Saturday night usually doesn't wow you. And I don't know why that is. They just normally don't. History has kind of proven that. But I really liked the match. Thought it was really cool. And I'm not really big on celebrity matches, but that was very good. And the outcome was what I thought. And it was cool that the celebrity actually got pinned. Because normally, the celebrity and whoever they're teamed with normally wins those matches. So, thought it was really cool. And we'll see where it goes and what happens from there. But, yeah, really cool stuff. This last match, though, I believe was, although I understand technical wrestling, Gunther is a technician. I think he is a man who is in a new age of wrestling. Guys, I've got my boys in here, and they think it's playtime when the show is on. He is a guy who is really transcended from an era like during a Hogan's era. He could have had a match with Bret Hart. He's just that guy. He doesn't miss a beat in the ring. Everything that he does is purposeful, meaningful. I just don't think Punk gives off that. In that type of match, it doesn't really work for him. And I know others were like, well, you felt like every time CM Punk got something going that you felt like Kenzo, the show is on. You felt like he was going to fight back and have an opportunity to win. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that uh, that match even gave off that kind of mantra. It was not very good, in my opinion. It was very boring, and I didn't find the the longevity of it. I think made it worse too. But the cash in, although it was great, but you knew it had to happen at SummerSlam. I said it way before in their last pay per view that Rollins was going to get his title back, and QB1 Cody Rhodes was going to get his title back at SummerSlam. Didn't know how that was going to go about, but I had a feeling those guys were going to be back with titles and carrying those going forward. They had to do something with Seth at this point because, as I said before, we really don't know the direction of this faction and where they're going with that. And it's time for Cody to have the title back. We were also a good spot for Cena to make his transition back to being the real John Cena. That's what Cody asked for. And we'll get to that match, but really cool. I do like the cash in. Probably a second. Seth owns probably the top two cash ins of WWE history that got really major pop. But I knew when he came out he wasn't hurt and he was going to cash in. But it got a really huge pop. I think it was perfect to take it off CM Punk. I don't feel bad for him. Again, he said that he's here to make money, and that makes money. That makes money big time. And what a better person to take it off of given their history. So, really cool stuff there. I think that was the second best match of night one, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. My concern is what is next for this faction. I am not a big Bronson Reed fan, to be honest with you. The jumping off with the tsunami, doing the crab arm deal doesn't do anything for me. He's not really exceptional on the mic, and at least Breaker has a personality, even though sometimes it looks like he's getting ready to have a seizure. He at least has a personality and has a presence. I don't believe Bronson Reed has a presence, and they could have chosen someone else to be a part of that faction. And maybe with Paul Heyman has made a lot of guys. So maybe with Paul Heyman, they will be able to do that. He said your dog disagrees. Obviously, he is a CM Punk fan. I don't dislike CM Punk. I just didn't feel like it was that great of a match. I thought it was quite boring, to be honest. But at least now we have a direction for this faction. Likely CM Punk is going to be involved in this next feud. How and what this is going to be about, how this involves Seth's people will be interesting. And we'll see what's next. I'm interested to see what's next for pretty much all of the champions here. Tiffany, Alexa. Do they continue this with Jade? Because they built her to this point, and I know some people felt like she was built up to this point to take the title. But let's be honest, her feud with Naomi had nothing to do with titles, and this was very short-lived. Do they continue it? They can. I mean, I don't see anything on the docket right now for Tiffany that is a juicy story that's going to hold attention and really get you engaged. That could be it. But we'll see. We'll see. Alexa and Charlotte will be fun. That's just going to be fun all together. The banter, how they come to the ring, the whole 9 yards. So it will be fun, all fun to watch. Night two. The ladies tore down the house. And I felt like in that tag team match, the ladies tore down the house too. Both two good matches that the ladies put on. I really enjoyed what we're seeing out of Naomi. I think it's always been there. They just have not given her the opportunity. And when they brought her back after being a champion in TNA and carrying that championship with pride and with strength, they brought her in, they took her and put her right back where she was when she left, doing nothing, floundering around. And I don't think that was on her accord at all. Now that she's got this new character and has gone into this heel mode, the performance she put on last night was phenomenal. It was just, it had everything that you could think of. I mean, that's the wrong photo. That one right there. All three ladies really performed well and set the bar extremely high, man. That's a high bar to set when you're talking about starting night 2 on Sunday. You got to come out guns blazing, and they did a good job of that. Setting that tone, coming out guns blazing, and she retains the championship just like I thought. It wasn't a surprise, but I'm looking forward to what's next for Naomi. I didn't like the fact they put her in immediate, lost my train of thought. Got that immediate 3-way for the title. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I guess it did make sense. Great match. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for her. And I hope this is a long title run. I know a lot of people were kind of concerned. They've done this to her before where she's won the title and then not too long afterward had the title taken off of her. So I guess that was kind of a something that could be hung in the back in this match as well. You've got Rhea Ripley, a multi-time champion, has carried this championship with strength. Io Sky just had the championship and had it taken off of her. And she could easily, we've seen this before where they've taken it off and next pay-per-view, they've got it back. So this could have been one of those things, but it was not to be at all. The two matches that were at math for me, Solo and Jacob Fatu, it just didn't have the pop that I felt like it should have, being a cage match. You're talking about a cage match, and they didn't use the cage that much. There was too much outside interference for no reason, and there were points made. Solo was the enforcer with the bloodline, and you mean to tell me that now he needs his lackeys to help him every time he gets into a match? It just kind of kills the whole champion thing with him. He was a force, so let him be a force. It was supposed to be two forces going at it, and it just didn't live up to that at all. Didn't live up to that at all. I also didn't really care for the Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Didn't have anything to do with the match itself. I thought it was very intense. This new Becky, I say Becky is Seth Rollins in the women's division now. Lyra did a great job as far as wrestling goes. We've seen this over and over again, and it's like, it was just kind of meh. So I didn't really care for it. But overall, the ladies did perform. I just wasn't a lot of great lead up for this to me, and a lot of the same that we've seen over the last two matches that they've had together. So, no. I want to go back to, and poor Karrion Kross. Now, the fans, they put up for it. He was doing all he could on social media to get himself back and to get out here to me, it was just kind of like, all right, we heard you guys, we'll throw them in there. And the match really meant nothing to me. It wasn't enough story. It was very, very vague. It sucked for both of them. And the question is, I thought this would be the time that Karrion Kross would win, and he doesn't win. So it goes to show how much I think WWE thinks of him. Really, is does he carry the attention of the crowd? So I don't know, man. I feel bad for him though. I mean, he does have a presence when they give him that opportunity, but they just haven't done a good job of giving him that opportunity. And I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. I think he'll be buried and be a sideshow in the background. So it's unfortunate though. It really is unfortunate for him and everybody involved. It really is unfortunate. And I think really they should give him an opportunity to go somewhere else because I think he would thrive in AEW. It's not like the guy doesn't have a presence. It's just they're being very disrespectful, in my opinion. And I don't know what that is. Does he not gel well in the locker room? I don't know. But yeah, that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're not gonna have dogs barking. We will be talking about that last match where we had the real Cena come back. Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall will be back. I haven't heard any news on it yet. I will have to dig into that one. Maybe I'll have something for you guys tomorrow night as we will be talking to two-time winner Richard Gatson. We'll be talking about his 2 wins, how he is maturated from that process after the first win, and we'll be talking some NFL too. Guy's a real big NFL guy. We'll be talking some football with him and getting his opinions on his Eagles and some other teams around the league as well. So it should be a fun time of a mixture of drag racing and football as we talk with Vance and Hines' own Richard Gatson. Well, the last and final match, was it going to be the Cena that we know, or was it going to be the heel Cena? Was Cena giving us a bunch of crap on Friday Night SmackDown when he claimed that he was going to bring the real Cena back, that he was back? I wasn't sure. I know I saw somebody on Twitter say he had crazy eyes. He had crazy eyes. I don't trust him. I wasn't sure. I was always waiting for the turn back. I thought he was kind of giving us a little bit of throwing us off and throwing off Cody a little bit. I did not expect the match that we got. We saw a Cena that looked like we rewound the years by 20. He looked really good. That was a solid match by both guys. They both laid it on the line. And I know sometimes we get tired of them, like you hit these finishers and they're hitting their finishers, they're hitting their big finishers, and they're always kicking out of it. But this match, it fit that deal. And they did a very good job of just selling the whole thing. The salute at the end before putting Cena down with the crossroads was awesome. But the biggest part of it all, though, man, was this here. This moment right here. A clear passing the torch from a former QB1 to the new QB1, Cody Rhodes. Just this moment right here is an embodiment of who John Cena is as a man. cares about this business. Really, you could say he put the business on his back. The true face of a generation, and passing it to someone who I believe in Cody Rhodes is that new face, true face of WWE. And as much as we would like to see Cody turn heel, and I would love that too, and there were thoughts that could happen as well, with John turning back into the real John that we've come to know. That was thought to be one of those things. Did not happen. It was a beautiful moment. And then after that moment, we all were like, what just happened? What the heck is going on here? When this man showed up, Brock Lesnar, the man we thought was gone from WWE, would never return, is now back. Story is fitting. It really is. These two were a huge feud. This is a nemesis for one John Cena. But there are some issues that surround that man, Brock Lesnar, and their legal issues. Legal issues that came up during the Janelle Grant deal that popped up here, with Vince McMahon being involved in that. Some were brought up, his name was one of those. And people have expressed their displeasure with Brock Lesnar being back. And with what is on the table, this is another instance where WWE does not care about reading the room. Hence why they kept dragging Hulk Hogan back when people in the locker room didn't want to see that man. And he got booed, like viciously booed, every time he showed up. This one's going to be sticky, guys. Although I think this is a great story, I am not here to say whether Brock Lesnar is guilty or not. That is not my forte. That is not what I specialize in. But we're going to see how this goes over. And I say we're going to see how this goes over because at the end of the day, wrestling fans are fickle. The same people that didn't want nothing to do, and maybe it's just because, you know what, man, we just going to respect the man. You know, he just passed away. We just going to give him his respect. But WWE fans and wrestling fans, period, turn real quick and all of a sudden forget about all that nasty, and it's just like their brains just wipe away, wipe clean, and all that venom they had earlier doesn't even matter anymore. And maybe that's what WWE is banking on, right? Hadn't seen this man in a while. He's in good shape. He's in good shape. In hella shape. And those two guys standing there, Cena in hella shape, it's gonna be a good one. This is probably something that's gonna play out for the next 4 months. Both guys aren't gonna be there every night. I hope they both are there tonight. At least Brock there tonight. But this isn't something that we're gonna see every week. Both of these guys, you know Brock Lesnar's schedule, and I believe Cena's got things going on too, off outside of the ring as well. So he's got his dates that are laid out. I don't remember how many more dates he has left, but he doesn't have very many dates left over the next 4 months. And it will be a complete farewell. The move to bring him back to his natural state was smart. One of the biggest outside of WrestleMania, SummerSlam is the biggest pay-per-view of the summer, and for him to be able to be sent off and the fans be able to pretty much salute him, so to speak, in that regard was well thought out, well done, and it should be a fun ride on the end. I'm really interested to see where Cody goes with this. What's next for him in this move? Um, you know, I'm interested to see how this whole story plays out for the rest of John Cena's career too. So, really good moment, probably the best moment of the weekend. Sundays are always better than the first night. So, super interesting where all of this lays out. Great moment though, and really it was a great ending. Because I mean, I don't know about you, when his music hit, I was like, what? Never thought he was coming back at all. Dominic Mysterio, though, I'm glad they did not take the title off him. I had worries that they would, and I don't feel like they've done him right. I don't know whether he's been, you know how the Judgment Day is with their avoidance of things, and I'm not sure if he was really injured or not, or whether we were just kind of being worked for the story. But I'm glad that they're letting him to continue. I think he is not only been a good champion, he has also showed up in other promotions that they've gotten the AAA promotion. That got a huge pop, him showing up there. And I think you gotta let him run with this thing. But they need to establish a really good story for him coming up next. I've got this gut feeling that eventually the Judgment Day will be no longer. And I know some people felt like the Judgment Day were going to start losing titles, all of their titles. But I don't see that. I think Finn and company will keep theirs. And obviously, Rey Mysterio or Dominic Mysterio kept his. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for him. He really has come out of his shell throughout this process of being with the Judgment Day. Has really helped him. The live thing has been good, and getting a championship and has carried it. Good stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen the WWE Unreal part on Netflix. It's interesting. I'm a traditionalist. I don't like it, but it was a good product. Brought a lot of light to some things, especially leading up to WrestleMania 41. And some of the things that I saw in that dealing with Jey Uso, it's kind of understandable now why they took it off of him. There's two reasons. I wouldn't say he's floundering. I just think Jay was feeling the pressure of being the top guy. And you could tell through his promos. And before he got the title, you could tell leading up to WrestleMania, he had a couple mistakes in the ring, a couple missed spots. So it wasn't really like he was losing momentum with the fans because they were still yeeting. I mean, but backstage was noticing that. And I think yes, he was feeling a little bit of the pressure of that. And I think it showed in his promos leading up to him losing it. But I also think they had to give it back to Gunther in order for somehow this to play out where CM Punk were to be involved. And of course, no better person to take the title off of than Seth to take it off of him and pull a Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, who has done that to Drew, I believe, twice. So cool stuff, well thought out stuff, very interesting. Memphis Lonnie says, speaking of being the face of wrestling, do you think Cena's change was particularly due to Hogan's passing, since Cena could get his just due while he's still alive? Well, I don't think so. I think this is one of those things, and I think what John Cena said on Friday had truth. They pitched this whole thing, and if you watch the Unreal, there are people that are involved in this pitch for him to turn heel that should not have been involved. Travis Scott, but they pitched this whole thing. You do this whole thing with the final boss about soul and selling out and this and that. John Cena sells out to The Rock. No matter how you want to slice it or dice it, he sold out to The Rock. And then when they did it, they left him out there to fend for himself. So I don't really think the direction that he went with it, as far as being mad at the fans for like saying he sucked and all the stuff in the past and he's tired of it deal, he had no choice but to go there. Because he couldn't sell the other part of it, because guess what? Rock was nowhere around. And I feel like Rock wasn't even the reason why this failed. It had a lot to do with H and everybody else in that room, the reason why this failed. Because the focus was on Travis Scott. Why? I don't know. Travis didn't do anything but stand there and then look silly, waving around whatever he thought was waving around sage or whatever he was doing. He looked like he was high on PCP. It just didn't look good. And they left him out there, hung him out there to dry, and it just wasn't going the way that it should have gone. He did a good job with what he had. I'll give him that. He did a good job with what he had. It just wasn't what it should have been. So this was the prime time for him to revert back, which I thought no matter what, if it worked or not, SummerSlam was where he was going to go back to being hustle, loyalty, and respect. Truthfully. Because you got to close this thing out as the John Cena that everybody's known for his whole entire career. Outside of the Thugonomics thing, which I thought that's where they should have went. But okay. So, no, I don't think it had to do with that. Just think that act was running out of gas. It had run out of gas weeks before then. It's just helpful that John Cena wasn't going to be at every single, whether he was on Raw or SmackDown, he wasn't going to be at every single show. So it didn't stink up the joint that bad, but it was losing its luster. Well, in closing this show, there's a few things I want to point out. First of all, WWE, don't keep running us out there with that dumb stuff about like we're stupid and telling us about history and records. Of course, it's a stinking record. It's a 2-night event. You made record money and record attendance. Why? It's a 2-night event. SummerSlam was a 1-night event. Just like some of the other ones that were 1-night events. So, of course, it's a record. But nobody really cares about those stupid numbers at all. And I don't know whether you're taking jabs at AEW or whatever. But I'm sorry, All In was a better product than that crap you put on and trying to cover up All In. It was better. They've been better since WrestleMania 41. So, who cares? I don't care about attendance. I don't care about the numbers. Give us a good product. Put out good storylines that you were putting out on the lead up to WrestleMania 41, where you completely wet the bed. I mean, like pancake pooped your pants. And it's been dry ever since. Give us a direction for this faction with Seth and Paul Heyman leading the course. Give us a direction. Give us a direction for Becky Lynch now. We flounder around with Lyra Valkyria. That wasn't that great of a story. It tided us over, I guess. but give her a direction, and let's create some good stories for Cody Rhodes, now QB1. Most will say always has been QB1 here. And give us some new stuff. I left out too. I'm sorry about that. I left out that ladder match was phenomenal. It was a lot of spots, yes. And yes, when she fell off the ladder and landed on that ladder was pre-cut. Okay, like I'm all for like crazy stuff, but when I see an actual red line where you guys scored it to make sure when she hit that bad boy, which I totally understand from that height to come down on that ladder, the way she came down on it is an injury waiting to happen. So you had to. But do a little better job of like not having clear markings where it was a clean break, okay? Try to do a better job of that. Along with doing better jobs of camera angles when you know darn well that they're not going to really connect with the guy or girl with whatever major tool it is that is literally going to split someone's wig open, and you give us the camera angle where we see they stop like 4 inches short. Stop it. We see that all the time now on Instagram Reels. Stop it. Give us better camera angles. But I want to see better stories going forward. It's time that they step their game up, because to be Vince is kind of Triple H now. And whether it's him or it's TKO, the world may never know, I guess. But it will be interesting to see how the future goes if we're going to be having 2-day events for a lot of these pay-per-views. Me and my buddy have always said, you can't keep up this momentum forever. And that's not anything negative, but sometimes you can overextend yourself a bit. And I think with these 2 nights, what you don't want is a watered down product for a 2-night event when you could have a big pop and a strong event if you had 1 night. I'm still not okay with SummerSlam being 2 nights. I'm not really okay with WrestleMania being 2 nights. Because to be honest with you, I think we always end up with 1 good night. We have an appetizer that's fair, and we have this moment at the end of the appetizer on Saturday that people are talking about and maybe want to tout as a big moment. And sometimes this year it was. But if you look at the overall body of work on a Saturday, it doesn't hit the same as it does on Sunday. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. I don't know what you can do to change that. But sometimes you can overextend yourself and you end up with matches like Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. You end up with celebrity matches. At least this one was good. You end up with repeat matches that we've seen that we thought were completely over and dragged on all the way until SummerSlam, even though they've had this moment on pay-per-views already with Becky and Lyra. And you end up with matches like Solo and Jacob that should have been 2 like beasts going at each other, and it just seemed like playful banter, like a slap fight. So I think you have to kind of think about those things, but money doesn't think about those things. And that's, at the end of the day, what it's all about. The almighty dollar. Memphis Lonnie says, I bet they charge more. They do charge way more for tickets. If you go and looked at WrestleMania this year, and you looked at WrestleMania when they started going to 2-night events, it was already high then. Then when TKO took over, the ticket prices have gone. They're Super Bowl prices now. They're almost Super Bowl prices for every pay-per-view. Now, I didn't see what the ticket prices were for SummerSlam, but I know WrestleMania is basically a Super Bowl ticket now. And that's unfortunate. Now, fans are going to do whatever they got to do to be there for the moment. And sometimes that's go for broke. But it is not no longer a thing of that the average person can save up some money and go to WrestleMania anymore. Hotel prices are extremely high. The ticket prices are extremely high. And then let's not talk about you're going to go across the country to Vegas or somewhere if you want to go to a WrestleMania that's not in your area. So you add all that together, you could be talking about $8,000 for WrestleMania. I'm sure people spent way more than that with the way the ticket prices were, especially floor seats. Insane now. Even their Raw and SmackDowns are higher now. It's unfortunate, but cash rules everything around us. Dollar bill, y'all. Memphis Lion said, I think I heard on Jim Cornette's podcast the front row SummerSlam was 4 figures. Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. I would 100% bet that it was 4 figures. I would 100% bet that it was 4 figures. It's unfortunate. It really is. It should not cost that much for seats at a pay-per-view for WWE. It just shouldn't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for surviving through all of the two boys wanting to be a part of the podcast as well. We're going to have a great show tomorrow with Richard Gatson. Like I said, we're going to talk to him about his 2 wins, the future, looking ahead to playoff time, and we're going to talk about some NFL stuff as well with him. Everything Nitro, guys. Look, y'all need to make sure that you're following Everything Nitro. Who gets slammed? A lot of people got slammed. Cena got slammed. Fatu got slammed. But y'all need to be checking out Everything Nitro. He is back, y'all. And good content. So make sure you go over to Everything Nitro and subscribe there and get yourself locked in. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Well, for a sports journey, for Everything Nitro, I'm Dujane Bland. This has been a Not Bland show. Again, thank you, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, for sponsoring our podcast. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Be there.